Alright, hey guys, welcome back. So here's another lathe project. Now this is going on a table saw I'm rebuilding. At some point along the way, last person lost 2 or 3 of these things right here. They're just that right there. What we're doing is we're making these little guys are, I want to say 40 millimeters. I want to say, let's see, the threads are M10 by 1.5. The barrel section here is 14 millimeters, and then the length is 56.3 millimeters long. I repositioned this, go over it. This is our original. We just have a washer here. It goes on there like that. Just putting this on here so I don't lose it. But yeah, M10 by 1.5. And then here's the one I made. One of the ones I made. We're making 2 more of these. I went down a little bit on the threads because it's not a high tolerance piece, but we're just gonna go over this, and I put a little slot there with the grinder. Turn this down. This is I think I want to say a 15. I want to say it's 15 millimeter, or no, 16 or 18. This one is a 16 millimeter round rod, just high carbon steel, and we're making these. For this particular, for a screw like this high carbon steel is more than enough force to, it's capable of handling more than enough force than what you would use these for. But this is what the table saw came with, so we're gonna make these threads. I'm gonna probably pause the video and make 2 of these bare, no threads. Anyway, I'm gonna make 2 of them, and then I'm gonna cut the video, and then we're gonna head over and I'm gonna start the video up again over at the thread, how to thread it up, because I'm not going to do it like I did in the last video, because this is high carbon steel, it's not brass. Brass is very forgiving and it's very weak, so you can kind of just hold it and break it if you really held on to it. So it's a lot easier to thread. This is not brass, it is high carbon steel. I'm not gonna try to hurt myself with this. Again, we got ours for this on, if you noticed in the last video, I had my machine set up on a super high speed. It's because it's brass, it's very forgiving, and I can do that with this. On this high carbon steel, I have it set on the lowest possible setting I can get it on. I also have, like on my lathe here, this is a, I can't remember what type of lathe this is called, but I have indents here. I could actually put this in and indent it, and it locks it in place. Take that out and unlock it. But that would give me 300, I think it gives me 360 points or 360 degrees. That's nice on this machine. Wonder what's up with this. I guess this is all the people that have used it. I never noticed that before. But we're gonna go over it right quick, and we're just gonna go on it. Let's see, is this already at, we need to be at 14. So this is already at 14 here. So we're gonna go ahead and face this off and just continue that. It helps if I have it plugged in. Give me a second. Always helps if you have something that uses electricity if it's plugged in. Alright, there we go. Notice on this I didn't have to hand start it. That's because the low gear pulley. I mean, here I'll show you. I was going over that in a previous video on how hard it is to turn this thing, and there's no point in doing it. I'm actually going to take this, and it's not enough, I don't care. And we're just going to go and face it off. Put a little bit of oil on it. There we go. I'm going to try to get two these guys out of the rest of this rod here. Let's see how that goes. Check that because I put my mark on here and I haven't. I don't remember where I put the mark. There's my mark right here. So we're actually going to take this, turn it back on. Let's see, that's my mark. Let's see. 54 millimeters. Right, I think. That was right. Sorry. 56.3. Yep, that's right on it. We're going to go just past my mark. Just making sure that that was my mark that I'm looking at, because it's not a very large mark. I'm coming up right to it. Now I already checked my space for the amount of room I had on here. That way I wouldn't hit as I'm trying to do this. A little bit further. Sorry for my hands being in the way, they just are. We'll go a little bit further. There we go. There's our length right there. We're going to go ahead and face this off again because I see a little bit of water. Now we're going to trim this section down to 10 millimeters. So just under we're going to do 9.5. So I'm going to bring that in a little bit. I believe that right there will be close to where we need it. Now we back off. We're going to turn it off. That will end it. Just gives me where I'm supposed to be at here. Now I can take my calipers. So we need to go in a little bit more. This is 10.5 or just over 10.5. So we'll go in a little bit more. Now I have a fairly kind of large bit and I'm not doing a large area. So I can kind of get away with doing it like this. Alright, that's a little too small, so we're going to bring this out some. And we're going to bring it ahead. And the reason I'm making these little cuts and then checking it, because it actually helps if you have a taper. If you have a taper like this at the very tip to get the die on there, and to help thread it, start the thread. So we're actually going to come out a smidge more. And I think that would be good right there. Now we're just going to go, because it wasn't far off from where I wanted it. I wanted it just under 10. We wanted about 9.5. This is about this is between 9.4 and 9.6 millimeters. I want to double check just to make sure though, because this head does have a little bit of deflection in it. That is spot on. That is 9.55 millimeters. So we're going to finish this off to the point we need to go, and that would be, we need to go, where's my, I'm always setting it down in the wrong spot. There it is. Right next to my bit. Now we're going to here, and this is pretty easy. With the washer on there, I kind of just measure to the washer. So we're going for 27 millimeters. I'm just going to put it 27 because I don't feel like trying to get too exact. It doesn't need to be. So 27 millimeters would be, put this in there like so. Actually, that's actually pretty easy. Like that. Pull this out. We already have our machine mark, so we don't go to 26 millimeters. There we go. There. That's my mark of where we need to go. I'm gonna come back in. And you might be wondering why I'm not using my my automatic feed. It's because the half nut here that allows it to feed that way is that way and that way, it is worn out and needs a new one. This machine is over 50 years old, so kind of expected. Chatter just because I am taking off a fairly big chunk. I guess I'll pull back. I'll just go ahead and make 2 passes. This is a roughing pass, so I don't care what it looks like. And what we're actually going to do is we're going to actually go back over this later and take all the rest of that off. that little bit of chatter we got. And we're done. But there's our entire piece right there. That is exactly to this right here. Oh, I'm in my hand. But yeah, there it is. Oh, there it is. Now we're going to cut this off right here at the slip. So if you see, notice how this is actually the piece that's on the lathe. It's actually just a smidge longer. So by the time we cut that off, it's going to be moved forward, and that's not going to be there. That extra link's not going to be there. So we're going to cut it off. Actually, I have a patch it. We'll go ahead and do this. I have a faster way, I just don't want to chuck it and go to that. And actually, I changed my mind. But you see how hard that is to kind of turn. So what I'm going to do right quick is I'm going to take this and we'll cut this off, and we'll be right back. I think we can get one more out of this. Let's see, can we? It's going to be challenging, but we're going to try to get one more piece out of this. Here. Actually, I just thought of, let me just do this. I'll just flip it around. I don't know why I didn't think about that in the first place, since I'm just making two more of these. This is a piece of scrap rod I had laying around, so if you're wondering where it came from, it's just a piece of scrap rod. It's nice being it's nice just using scrap that you have laying around, because you really don't have to think about anything. You don't have to waste anything, I should say. We're going to bring this back to 56.3. I have my little line scribe. Keep an eye on it. There's my cutoff point. Now we're going to come in and just finish this up. Also, when you're doing this, sometimes you get lucky and get these kind of neat little slinky like pieces of metal. This one actually came off the last one down there. They're pretty neat. They're like little slinkies. And with this lower speed, I'm able to put the oil on the piece itself, and it doesn't fly off. It's much nicer than having a high speed, but it's a lot slower. But since this is high carbon steel, you kind of got to do it. And these little flakes that are coming off are really hot. Let me actually double check, because that should be. Yep, that's perfect. Now we're all go in. And back in. Ow. Just letting out my fingers start burning. sometimes you hit a weak spot. That's just metal, and you can kind of feel it just kind of go. There's the end of it. Yeah, that's too much. Alright, next we're going to go up to this, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to measure out, same thing we did a minute ago. We're going to turn it off. We want this about 9.5 millimeters. This one's just under 11. We'll turn it back on. Now you gotta remember, when you're doing this, you have to take whatever you move it in, you have to count that's double. Whatever distance you move it in is double the length that you're taking off. So if you're taking off 0.2, if you move this in 0.2 millimeters, then you're taking off 0.4 millimeters off your piece. That's because 0.2 is just what you moved it on this side. You're also moving it 0.2 on this side, so that adds up to 4.4. And I'm gonna move that out just a tiny bit. There we go. And we're gonna call that good, and we're gonna finish this up. Now we're gonna go ahead and mark our next piece, which I think was 27. Yep. I'll burnish it. There we go. Well, you notice how it's kind of jerry-rigged right here? That's just kind of what I got. I want to get a new head for this thing, like an actual full-size head for this thing when I get a chance. But I got other things I can spend money on, so I'm not doing that right now. So we're going to do this, hear that chatter again, so we're going to back off and come in at a smaller bit size. Make sure I didn't get off, because it might have after moving all that. And just under 10. Yep, we're right there on it. Now this time we're more at 9.6. If you're wondering about this little oiler, it actually was my granddad's. He had it around his shop just doing stuff. It was old and rusted and all over the place. So I went and I polished it down, but yeah, like you get those really nice long. So I went and polished it off, all the crap that was on there, and redid the seals, and it does really nicely now. But yeah. Now I'm gonna cut the video. We got this size, we got the other end done. Let's turn this around. Put this out for y'all. We got this. Okay, so there's both of them in. I'm gonna cut it off here, but that's how much waste we have between all three of these. That about ½ an inch of steel wasted. That's gonna go into the scrap. Where is it? I'm not looking for it. There it is. And here's the original. So now we got 4 of them. Now when we cut the video, we're gonna go thread. I'm gonna cut these off and we're gonna go thread them, and I'm gonna show you what I'm doing with that. All right, hey guys, welcome back. So this is the one we already did. As you can see, it's pretty good. So let me take this off for you. So here we go. Here's the finished piece. We put a slit. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, there you go. We put a slit in it to make it a flat head, just like the original. So there's the original and the new one side by side. As you can see, the slit on mine's a little deeper. I don't know if you can see that. That's just when you put the flat head in it, it'll give you a lot more surface area when you grab it. So there's those two done, and I put a slit already in this one, and we gotta thread this one. So show you how fast. It's a little slow. I'm just putting it in the vise here, making sure that my tap is oriented in the right direction here. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna push down and twist. Push and twist. And you want to be very careful. You got to get this, the straighter you get it, the less hassle you'll have in the long run. So we're actually going to take this off. Start again. I'm trying my best not to get it offset. Starting to grab. Now when it starts to grab, you kind of want to back off. What that does, it breaks. You want to do a quarter turn. The reason you want to do a quarter is because you got 4 flutes on here. 1, 2, 3, 4. When you turn it a quarter turn, the previous cutter passes over it and busts off the piece you just cut and makes it fall out so it doesn't get jammed up. And we're continuing to push down. And you want to do that every about half turn. So let's say there's one half turn. And that was, I just went back half turn. So there's that. I'm gonna do it again. Back off, do it again. And once you do it a few times, you kind of get used to it. And you kind of get a feel to where you need to do it. Now, one thing we might have to do with this, we might have to file this top down to get it to seat. To accept the screw more easily. But like, there's a hard spot right here in the steel on this particular one, because the other one went pretty easily. And this one started actually fairly easily, but this one spot is getting a little hard. And sometimes I'll go like this to clean up the threads prior. This also cleans out the teeth on the flutes. And it's kind of like whatever you feel like doing on how far you want to go before you clean it. By clean, I mean back it off a quarter turn. And when we're done threading this, I like to go over it a few times to finish cutting and cleaning up all the teeth. We're almost there. And this is real time for this type of thread. I probably on these, I probably would go ahead and do it on the lathe. If that, ow, my hands are getting really sweaty. If the half nut on the lathe wasn't in such bad shape. This thing needs to be swapped out. That's it at the bottom though, so we can go ahead and do this. There we go, that one actually did pretty good. But yeah, there's that. And here's it all cut. Here's the original, here's, oh, put it in camera, here's the original, here's the new. These threads always come out really nice looking, or almost always, so let's see how easily it is. And there we go, and very little backlash. But there's 3 of them done, 3 flathead screws. I call them barrel screws. I know these are not barrel screws, but the reason I call them that is because they have this large barrel on them. But yeah, there's 3 of them made up. There's a 4th one. That's all we need for that table. Y'all have a good one. Thanks for watching. Bye.